It's a pint and a chat with Wire and Wasteland. Party on, Jules.
Party on, Em.
Pint in the chat. Woo woo.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our second episode of A Pint and a Chat with Wire and Wasteland. And today we're going to be having our first guest, and that will be James, who is otherwise known as Melodywhore.
Hello, darling.
Hi, James.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I'm Jules, as you probably know.
Yeah, Jules, James, Jules. So we're having a pint and a chat and a doobie today. I would, but it makes me too sleepy.
I don't do anything. I don't do anything like that.
Dude, seriously, thanks again for joining us, man. We're really glad to have you here. So this is our first ever guest on our Wire and Wasteland Pint and a Chat podcast. This is the absolutely fantastic, wonderful, talented, and incredibly handsome Melodywhore, also known as James Reyna. If you haven't heard his music, you should go and listen to it right now because it's really damn good. I want to talk about Melodywhore. Like, I've obviously been a fan of yours for years and years and years. You're so talented. Everything you do, your vocals, your synths. You're an amazing composer. I mean, you and I both composed for TST TV. Everything you did, I mean, they were just dying over it. They loved it. Like, you're just so talented. So, and I just have to say, I mean, Dark Light is still my favorite. That's the one that I still have always on my Spotify. Like, when I go in to listen, I'm like, I want to hear Dark Light. So we want to hear, like, what's going on right now with Melodywhore, what's coming up next. Tell us about this wonderful enigma that is Melodywhore.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, and thanks for all the wonderful comments. Although I'm like, are we sure we're talking about the same guy? Like, I don't know. Wow. Dark Light was actually my last full. Well, I guess it was technically an EP. So I mean, my plans have always been to put out an album next, but I think I've been just so busy with collaborations and remixes. So I actually do have I have music written for the next Melodywhore album. I just need to do vocals on it. And so,
oh my god, get to work. No, I'm just kidding.
I think I think initially at the beginning of the pandemic, I think I was very prolific and getting a lot of work, doing a lot of things, and people, would be like, "Oh wow, I don't understand how you do all that stuff," and and now I'm kind of like, where did all that go? It's not. I think the holidays came around, and I'm not usually a big holiday person.
Hate. Double hate. Loathe entirely.
I think got me in a rut, and after that, I just, that, and I had some other personal issues, which we could probably talk about a little bit later, just involving the pandemic and being, well, and for me, my actions weren't to don a mask and try to go out and be out there. I've pretty much been, stuck here in my house,
Same.
and, I mean, I've gone out a few times, obviously, and tried to be as safe as possible. But, I'm not one of those people that are thinking that this thing is not real. It's a government conspiracy, and
Well, we're glad to hear that.
Thank you for being awesome.
I'm definitely, yay science,
Science.
Yeah, so that's actually, put me in a mental state that, I'm actually now taking medication for. So
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Actually, since we're on this right now, Jules had a question for you specifically about this. Let's go ahead and talk about that, Jules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what you've just been talking about leads on to this question quite beautifully, actually. So how has the pandemic affected your mental health? Have you found solace in your creativity during this difficult time?
Yes, the question about the finding solace in working, as over time, you kind of you meet certain people and you work well with. I'm sure you and Em are very well aware of that. I think that obviously that's a good positive creating all that stuff. For me, that's always been an escape, and I think even though that was there, I think part of the issue of the pandemic is not going out anymore, not going out as much. And for me, it's it's like I mean, and I guess this could be part the reason could be partly because everything is available to us now. It's like I don't even have to go to the grocery store. I can just order my groceries and have them delivered to me. Fast food restaurants, everybody's using DoorDash and Uber Eats and all that stuff, so you don't even have to go out for that anymore. I guess the requirement to, when the times that we weren't supposed to go anywhere, we're only supposed to go places for emergency type things. All of the Trump crap that was going on, that included, I mean, you can't, we're talking about 2 years into his presidency, and he's did a horrible job, with the pandemic. He downplayed it continuously. I mean, I've always been pretty laid back, which is kind of, when I actually started freaking out and having like, panic attacks, stuff like that, it started tripping me out. But, I'm doing pretty good now. I'm not really, but I had to realize that, I'm not Superman, and I went to my doctor, and I said, hey, I think this, all this pandemic and, and working and, all this other shit is just, tripping me out. So, what can we do? And she said, here's some medicine. I said, okay, let's try it.
And it's working.
Did she say?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I can't say that I don't still get a little panicky from time to time, but it's
that's normal,
for the most part.
Under the surface.
Yeah, I think it's normal. Get a little panicky, have situations come up, and it's like, what are you gonna do?
I didn't mean to interrupt. If your doctor like normalized it for you at all and said, yeah, I'm talking to people all day, every day that are going through the same thing, just to normalize this for you, because.
I mean, I think, before I went to her, I think I realized that, you kind of, I mean, they're talking about mental health in the news and things like that. So, I honestly believe that, it's happening. There's a lot of people that are tripping out, and because, all this stuff is not normal, being,
so isolated.
As human
beings, isolated.
As human beings, we're not supposed to live like this. It's really weird and abnormal.
Yeah. And I mean, even this is coming from, at least Jules and I, we're both introverts. So like we're struggling. If we're struggling, I'm going to just ask you a straight out personal question. Never in your life before, because like, again, with mental health and stuff, from the time I started Plike, I've tried to be really honest. I've struggled really hard, really, really hard. I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm bipolar 2. I have all kinds of issues that I have to struggle with, and they've been there for a long time. Like, is this the first time in your life that you've had to cope with this kind of stuff, or is this just No, I was just curious.
Not personally. I mean, I've had, I've been involved with people that had mental illness.
It's important to, reduce the stigma and normalize it. And
yes,
it's just as important as your physical health, isn't it? In fact, if anything, I think your mental health can affect your physical health. So it really is important.
I mean, I chose to talk about this stuff because I think, it's important, like we're saying, this stuff does need to be discussed and needs to be louder. I'm a human being, I'm not, I may be Melodywhore.
Exactly.
I'm also James, Jimmy, whatever over here,
It's so hard as well when you're on the internet. People kind of build up this idea about you. And,
yes.
And sometimes you kind of have this, you almost feel like you have to kind of play into that as well. And it can be really hard to kind of reveal certain parts of yourself that you feel like you're going to be judged, and
you will be.
Yeah. By some people, not everybody.
Well, that's good. If I'm being judged by somebody, then, that's the kind of person that I don't really care to be involved with anyway.
That's right.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Like, peace out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm hoping more and more that we're all moving towards being able to be more authentic. But then, of course, there's, don't even get me started on Instagram, right? I mean, oh, Lord
I'm
God.
not on there. I was. I left.
Yeah, it can be fun. I'm going to drag her on there. I'm going to drag her on there.
No.
Dude, you've obviously done a lot of collaborations. Like, I was lucky enough to do a collaboration with you, and I mean, that was such a blast, and I hope we get to do
enjoyed
more.
That, you guys. So really thought that was fantastic.
That's all him. That's all him, completely all him. That was his song that he had written, and I, again, like, it just this an incredible song, and he let me play around. No, he let me play around the edges and play around with it and change certain parts of it to just give it a different kind of like coat of paint. But this was his song, so you guys are the amazing songwriters. You know what I'm saying? I seriously, but I'm so lucky that I got to do that with you. We'll do more. We're gonna do more.
You're awesome producer. So
yeah, you are. She always says this because I sent her like a demo track that is on that EP, and
it was so much better than the demo. She's putting herself down. No,
you transformed it into an actual song. So there you go.
You're so sweet.
I may have written the song, but you did your magic on it, and it sounds wonderful as a result of that. So I'm going to give you both. You both deserve credit for that track because you both did your bits, and there you go.
Thank you, Jules.
Even Stevens, as it were.
Well, I just being a producer, which is what I want to do, I wouldn't, again, like, without amazing songwriters like you guys, I wouldn't have anything to do. Like, I really wouldn't have anything to. So, I mean, but no, that when he sent me over that track, Envious Moon, I was just like, oh my God. this is the most incredible. And, you know, my mind just started spinning, like, what can I do with it? And again, I do the same thing with you, James, that I always do with Jules. Like, I hope you like it. If you don't, please tell me. I'll change anything you want. This is the way that my brain kind of went. So Melodywhore collaborations, there's so much you've done. I mean, I was trying to like look at everything that I've heard and that I've seen, and I'm like, oh my God, I as much as I like try to keep on top of everything, there's things that I know I've missed, but the Joker project.
Red sparks in the dead of night, flames cascading and endless light.
Jack Gordon he's the guy from Eden's End.
Love Eden's End. Love Eden's End.
Yeah, he's very good.
You know, he also runs Merch Table Pro.
Yes.
Yep.
So that, you know, that's where this
yes, and our t-shirts as well.
Thank you, Jack. Hey, we're all rocking out your stuff today, Jack. Yeah. Thank you.
He does amazing work.
Yes.
So he I can't remember how it came about, but you know, I think we maybe just kind of, you know, being around each other, you know, or you know, with through promotions and things like that, you know, plus with, you know, interacting with you know, through Merch Table Pro, I think it's just natural thing, like, you know, hey, maybe we should work on something together. I think I threw something together and I sent it over to him, and you know, this is what became This Broken Home.
That song, oh my God, if you guys haven't heard it, go listen to it right now. It's so good.
But he actually, all the lyrics and vocals are all Jack. You know, I you know, did most of the music production. I mean, he threw in his guitar, and you know, he may be involved in some of the drums, I think, but
I didn't know he played drums as well.
I didn't. Yeah. Amazing.
Man of many talents.
Yeah. Just incredible. Just so many. You guys are able to do so much different stuff. That's just, and that could almost kind of trip you up sometimes with collabs, right? When you both know how to do everything. Yeah. Like, and there's not, you know, right? It's like
find where you fit in, maybe.
Yeah, it's almost like drawing straws. Who's going to do the drums this time, and who's going to do the?
But that can also be interesting because, you know, you can get different sounding drums from, you know, using a different person to do the drums that time. I don't know, but
that's yeah.
Now, I mean, we're actually we have a third song that we're working on, that we're kind of in a spot, like, who's going to do the vocals, who's going to do the backing vocals. I mean, because like for the first release we did, which is This Broken Home, on the second one, he did most of the music, and I did the vocals on it.
Okay.
So, but you know, there's always a bit of a collaboration on the music part. I mean, you know, I think I added for what is our second song called?
You guys feel like you're floating?
And I'm going to mispronounce the heck out of this right now. Venus McV and the Notorious Eric Von P. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yes, that's correct.
That's, I got it right. Yay. Oh my God, there's just so many collabs that you've done that are so fantastic. So it seems to me like almost that, watching from afar, that your musical path has taken you more in a direction of where you're focusing more on collaborations and remixes and this kind of stuff. So I'm curious to know why, like, how come that ended up being what it looks like has happened, where you're kind of feeding more off of doing collaborations with other people, what are you working on right now? Who, I mean, he's going to, right now, Jules, I'll tell you right now, he's going to be like, I'm collaborating, and it's going to be like 50 people where he's going to be like, I've got all these projects in the can right now. So want to know, seriously, tell us more about what drives you.
So why? When I first started, when I was spent, it was what was that? The Xenophenia. I don't even know how to pronounce my albums. Philia album was the first album that I released when I first started putting more focus towards promotion and actually making building a brand instead of building just having just like a page on mp3.com or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if you remember. Were you on mp3.com? I think I'm still on mp3.com.
I don't think I ever joined that.
I didn't either. It sounds familiar though.
It does sound very familiar. Yeah.
That was a while back. I guess it was what was that website?
MySpace. That's where me and Jules were.
So, yeah.
Oh, MySpace was good when it first started.
Fun.
MySpace around the time of 2006 was good, I think, anyway.
So I started producing, I guess getting more serious, and so my focus was going to be towards vocalizing Melodywhore, because prior to Zeno still had, like, I did some vocalizations on there, but I mean, I'm not really I'm not.
You better not. If you're going to say what you're about to say, you better not. Just don't.
I'm becoming more confident with my vocals.
Good.
So that's
I can relate to that.
This is kind of like the progression was, I did a little bit in Zeno, and then obviously did a lot more in Darklight, and this next album is supposed to be a lot. It's going to be a lot more, and actually I've actually, you could hear some of my vocalizations and some of my collabs, the direction that I'm headed, or I guess, trying to be more diverse with how I'm vocalizing and things like that. So I mean, because I think for a long time, whenever people hear, anything vocal that I've done, and I'm talking about, like, way back in the early days of writing music and stuff for me. But I've always been told that I kind of sound like Depeche Mode or Dave Gahan.
What a compliment! I mean,
that is a compliment.
Oh yeah. And I mean, they're like, I used to get, it was either that or I should be writing music for film scores. So
yes, I agree with that.
That's another compliment. That's
definitely
a huge in my book. That's a huge compliment.
Yeah, so I'm I've been working up towards becoming more confident with my vocals, and so that could be part of the reason why I've been kind of doing collabs. I wouldn't say I necessarily have a main collab, but if I did have one, it would probably be the Venus McVie and Notorious Eric Funky. I don't know if you've heard the origin story from that name. Have you?
No, I have not. And I've always wondered. It sounds like the most pretentious name ever, and I just always figured you guys did that on purpose.
We were joking. Well, I think V was joking around and she said something like, we should, work on some stuff and put it out using our porn star names.
Name, please.
Penis Demilo.
Interesting.
And so naturally, like she said that she was going to be V McVenus, and then I just automatically just rolled off my tongue that I would be Eric Von Penis.
I knew that was coming. Something to do with penis. I knew. What a feeling.
And of course, knowing that wouldn't fly on Spotify or Apple. So that's why it came out to be, we kind of rearranged it. So Venus McVie and Notorious Eric Von P.
My last question to you. What do you think it is about success that frightens people? And do you fear success? And if so, why?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I was getting a call.
Sorry. Thanks a lot. This is how much we matter to him, Jules. This is how much we matter.
Well, fear of success is certainly I don't think everybody has it, but I think it stems from, it could stem from a lot of different things. For me, which I do believe that I do have somewhat of a fear of success, is that, once you start seeing things happen, you kind of maybe start backing off on it, or even to the point of, what would it be? Sabotage, like self-sabotage. And I, it could stem from things like, maybe a fear of having to be, at a certain, I guess, to act a certain way, or if you're going to be, to be a public figure, could be, very stressful, or maybe be a lot of pressure on someone, I don't necessarily want anyone to feel like they want to pattern their life after mine, because, that's a lot of pressure to put on any one person. But, even so that, I haven't, my life hasn't been horrible, but I've had a lot of, there's been a lot of challenges, I wouldn't wish upon anyone. I don't think it's something that I think is going to prevent me from, being successful. Cause, I've enjoyed some success, in my musical journey, and I have a lot to thank Safira V for, because a lot of the contacts that I have or I've made kind of stemmed through her, and really kind of started with Martin from Dog Tablet. I'm not sure if you.
I know Dog Tablet because of you. I know Dog Tablet. And just an aside, if you guys don't know Safira V, go listen to her music right now. It's really good.
So she's, she actually kind of got me in the doorway and working with Martin, and because I did some remixes for Dog Tablet that that she vocalized on. It was like, I think the first thing that she did for Dog Tablet, and I think for the first time in my musical journey, I'm actually working with and working around artists that that I grew up with, that I grew up watching and enjoying. Being around some of those artists, like some of the folks from Wax Tracks, the Wax Tracks label, and like most recently, with the radio show, we've been interviewing people like Chris Connolly and Raymond Watts. in what lifetime would I ever think that I would be talking to Raymond Watts, about music? But you kind of get into those things. It's like, okay, well, where is this going to head? Just recently there was there's a band called Son Sombra. Apparently the guy that, I guess the head guy in that band, the vocalist, he's a white supremacist. Or at least, he's been involved in groups, but the thing is like, he is like literally involved in some groups. And of course he's trying to downplay it now, but, that, it's kind of like, if somebody were to find out that, I was a Satanist, right? What are they gonna, is that gonna, cause some people to not follow me? Like, I guess, to me, that is, I'm not doing anything necessarily that is bad for anyone. Are you laughing?
See, right now I'm trying to not let the words spill out of my mouth because there's no comparison between a Satanist and a white supremacist.
Absolutely not. In fact, I know people that would refer to themselves as Satanists, and Satanism is not what people think it is.
We should defend pluralism and free speech. We can't allow America to divide itself into regional theocracies.
Absolutely really not. And but white supremacy, there is no okay side to that at all. No. There's no. But I get what you're saying, where there are a portion of people that if they hear the word Satan or Satanism, right? But those are the kind of people that you don't give an F.
Because they don't really do their research, do they? They just kind of listen to what other people say and don't think for themselves. When I was a kid, I remember being a 7-year-old kid and having a conversation with my friend across the road, and he was like, I don't know, 6 or something. And he'd say, "Oh, I can't wait to grow up and have a car and a house and responsibilities." And I was just like, that sounds awful. Why would you want that? I found out he joined a rock band, so he must have rebelled at some point.
Good for him.
Good for him.
You got it.
Rocked out.
Look at her throwing up the horns. Do you see what a bad influence I am on this woman? I'm a horrible influence on this beautiful woman.
Oh, cool. It's been really great to meet you, James. And I hope you've enjoyed our interview.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. You guys are
welcome.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, you're awesome. You're the awesome one. We think you're fantastic, and hope everybody listen to
Melodywhore out.
Buy it, support it, check it out.
Absolutely.
He's an awesome dude. Thanks for being here.
Cheers.
Cheers, James. Cheers, Em.
Yeah, cheers.
She made me say party on. That's so funny.